Yes, rabies does exist in Bali, and no, visa on arrival has not been revoked. Stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is June 18th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. What is the weather like today? 30 degrees and 66% humidity. Wind speed is 18.7 kilometers per hour. It is breezy. The curtains in my back here behind the camera are moving a lot. And, well, the sun is sparkling off the ocean right out there, right outside my window. It is beautiful. A little warm in my room without my fan on, but I'm trying not to pick up the sound of the fan and the refrigerator, which I've had to turn off because I realized when I was wearing my headphones, you can hear that stuff. And so got everything turned off today except for the camera. And so we'll see how that works. I hope that the weather wherever you are is as lovely as it is here. And if you are here on the island in a different part, how's the weather like today? I have some friends from Japan in the country right now, and they are down in Jimbaran. And so I wonder how the weather is going for them. They're here for a wedding. Bali's a good place for weddings, I guess. And so today's news is really a reaction to what I've been reading on social media, because there is more misinformation out. And, well, you know, there's an old cartoon that's got a guy sitting in front of his computer and his wife says, "Come on, let's go to bed. It's so late." And he goes, "No, somebody's wrong on the internet." Well, this is one of those videos. Somebody's wrong on the internet. Not just one person, but quite a few people are confused about certain things. And so let's get to the truth, the factual truth, and not the rumors. So we're going to talk about rabies first, because this is a serious situation. Rabies cases in Bali reached 275. So rabies killed another life up here in Buleleng. A 5-year-old boy died from being bitten by a rabid dog. In 2023, the total number of bite cases as of May in Bali, 4,528 bites. Confirmed cases of rabies, 275, as I said. 3 people who died from rabies, 2 people from Jimbrana and 1 from Buleleng. According to a government official, this is because they didn't report the bites and they didn't get the anti-rabies vaccine, and so they weren't treated, and unfortunately they died. Positive cases in Bali: Badung, 34, Buleleng, 27, Denpasar City, 9, Gianyar, 45, Jimbrana, 46, Karangasem, 56, Klungkung, 26, Tabanan, 13. Rabies vaccine stock currently is 3,820 doses, and they're trying to get some more in here now. This is being provided by the Agriculture and Food Security Service of the province of Bali. Rabies transmission can be prevented by taking good action, such as taking care of your dog. Don't let it wander around. Get your animals vaccinated regularly. In addition, don't just dump your dog if you don't want them anymore. Give them to somebody, take care of them. Make sure that they're sterilized, and avoid getting bitten. If you are bitten by a dog, immediately wash the wound with soap for 10 to 15 minutes, then rinse with clean running water and report to a facility, a medical facility, hospital, puskesmas. You want to check and make sure that everything is okay. Do not ignore it if you get bitten by a dog, or a cat for that matter as well. I haven't seen any cases of rabies recently coming from cat bites, but there's possibility. And you've got monkeys as well. If you are in the monkey forest and you're one of those people that like to let those beasts climb all over you, you've got to watch out. In addition to that, they've got bats. And I don't know anybody that's been bitten by bats lately. Dracula is not here on the island as far as I know. So this is in response to some people on the internet who were on social media, different forum sites, saying Bali does not have rabies. Yes, it does. Bali has rabies and it has dengue. Those are the 2 things you've got to watch out for in terms of health. All right, the second story, confusion here. The free visit visa has been revoked, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. That does not mean the visa online. They're two separate things. The visa online is still functioning. You can get it. You can get it online, or you can get it when you come into the airport. Either way, it is not revoked. The free visit visa for 159 countries revoked. Governor Bali said, no effect on Bali. And in this case, I think the governor is right. So the visit-free visa was been revoked for 159 countries, well, temporarily revoked, but it hasn't been in effect actually since COVID started. In 2020, it was suspended because they didn't want people coming in. And so it's been suspended again. Why has it been suspended again? Well, I don't, it's kind of, since nobody's been doing it, I don't know why they did it, but it's official. There's a link down below to the official document if you want to read it, the SE. Is it going to affect anybody? No, it is not affecting anybody because, as I said, we haven't had this since pre-COVID days. And everybody that can come in now, you can come in on a B211. You can come in on a variety of different ways. Most people are coming in on the VOA visa on arrival. 30 days can be renewed one more time. This visa-free visit only is good for people from the ASEAN countries and for Timor-Leste. That's all. The 159 other countries that used to have it, it's not there. It hasn't been here for years now, 3 years. And so this is not affecting anybody, but people have gotten confused about this, and there are rumors spread, and there's some officials websites apparently that say, oh, you can't come anymore on a VOA. Yes, you can. The chairman of the Badung Association of Indonesia Hotels and Restaurants, PHRI, supports this policy of temporarily suspending, again, that visa. He said, I really support the policy of no longer applying visa-free visits for 159 countries, but they have to use the visa on arrival. According to him, this policy can filter for foreign tourist visits. He said, so if you come using VOA, I think it's very good. Here it's selected. Don't let the tourists who come to Bali and run out of money and do bad things to us. Don't let them come in. Now, the reason given for this suspension in the official document is to keep people from flooding in here and creating more problems. So, of course, this has been the main concern now for several months, and so they've done this. Why have they done this? I don't know. It seems kind of redundant, but you know, officialdom all over the world, it gets kind of confusing. But good news is you can still come to Bali if you want to. And of course, as I said in the last video, since there's no more need to prove that you've been vaccinated for COVID, well, I imagine a lot more people are going to come that wanted to come before but didn't come because they didn't want to get the shots, or they couldn't get the shots, or there was something involved there. And so now they're going to come here. And, well, we'll get to that later on in the video. And since we're talking about the visa on arrival, what about the idea of increasing the VOA rates or adding on a tourist tax? Well, Pak Sandiaga Uno has given us an update on this the other day. Sandiaga Uno's comments on a discourse of increasing the VOA rates. We are still being brewed. Okay, that's Google translation. So this discussion, which started a while ago about increasing the VOA rates, has been addressed again by the tourism minister, and he said there's not any yet. It's still being discussed. But the goal is to get quality tourists. He said, until now, there's been no further discussion regarding visa on arrival rates, increasing them, or fees for foreign tourists to come to Indonesia. And he said this on Saturday when he was down in Nusa Dua. He added that with the target adjustment, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy is expecting to have greater numbers of tourists this year, up to 6 to 8.5 million foreign tourists this year and 9.5 to 14 million next year. Wow. This has gone way up. You remember, it was just a few weeks ago, he was talking about 4.5 million. Now, he's talking about 6.5 million this year. Too many people on the island. These are just foreign tourists he's talking about. The domestic tourists, they should be flooding in here now, and I'm going to talk about that in a broadcast just in a little while, because this is school holidays, and so you get a lot of kids coming in from other islands, especially from Java. Those big buses full of school kids ready to go and see things, and wow, be loud and noisy. So the island should be crowded. Now, you know, I don't go anywhere, so I don't know here. I don't see many things, but I was surprised yesterday. I was at KFC, and there were tourists in KFC, eating in KFC. Wow, something I don't expect to see here. And I saw some down at the harbor. I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, looking for rare species up here in Singaraja, because we don't get that many up here. So, okay, let's get back to the visa rates. So, Pak Sandiaga Uno said that increasing the visa rates could put a burden on tourists, and especially families who come with a budget, and he said they may choose other destinations that have more affordable entry fees or no fees at all. However, he said, visa rates are only one of the factors that influence a tourist decision on coming to the island. Other factors include the tourist attractions that are available, security, tourism facilities, and infrastructure. Those are all important factors, and I think we all know that, those of us that follow tourism here. The current visa on arrival rate in Indonesia is 500,000 rupiahs, and Pak Sandiaga Uno said that the rate is quite competitive when compared to Thailand, he said, which requires tourists from 18 countries that require VOA, including China, India, and Saudi, to pay $52 US. However, when compared to Vietnam, he said it becomes less competitive because Vietnam sets a tariff of $25 for VOA and $50 for multiple entry. I don't really see them increasing the fee, especially now that we are getting a lot of tourists in, but you can never tell here. It should be noted that Thailand provides visa-free facilities for tourists from 57 countries, and Vietnam provides them to 22 countries. And as I said in the last segment, we provide visa-free visits for tourists from 10 countries, the ASEAN countries. And what about tourists in Bali? It is the high season. Peak tourist visits predicted June to August. The Indonesia Hotel and Restaurant Association, PHRI, estimates that the peak of tourist arrivals be between June and August, and that they are going to be taking all the villas and all the hotels down in the south. And according to Pakarai from the association, he said, this is great. Tourism is getting back to normal. We are so happy. Since the beginning of last week's holidays, the occupancy rate has increased significantly to 92%, according to representative from the One in Legian, a hotel, while overall for the tourist area of Kuta, it's estimated to be 85 to 92% booked right now. Wow, amazing. Just think about last year and especially 2 years ago. According to Eka Pertama, there are at least 3 factors that have driven the surge in tourists coming to Bali. Increasing room occupancy. The first is, of course, that there's long school holiday season, the annual agenda where domestic tourists are overflowing in the island, especially groups of students, as I said, and their families and companies as well. At the same time, there are various events in Bali. One of them is the Bali Arts Festival, which is taking place, I guess, right now in June and July. And in comparison for foreign to domestic, right now the figure is about 50%, he said, 50-50. And second, the development of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been declared an endemic. He said people are free to travel. They don't have to wear a mask anymore, right? And you don't have to have the proof of having shots. And the third is the start of winter in the Southern Hemisphere, he said. Australia, he said, the cold peak in the land of kangaroos will occur in July and August. And Australians are making their exodus to Bali. Okay. And welcome, Australians. One of my Australian friends should be here in another few weeks, and so that will be fun. And some more on tourism. Bali reintroduces Tanah Lot Festival, targeting 25,000 tourists a day. Tanah Lot Tourism Management is reintroduced the art and culinary festival that had been halted since 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. And this year, the organizing committee is expecting 25,000 tourists a day to visit. And according to spokesperson, he said there's going to be music and art, entertainment at night. And if you come at night, you don't have to pay a fee to get in. If you come during the daytime, you do. Right now, there's about 5,000 tourist visits a day between domestic and foreign. And of course, if you're coming to Tanah Lot to do religious activities, well, you don't pay. So this is the 4th festival, and there will be classical dances presented. Oh, great. And as well, there will be unique culinary exhibitions. There will be a cooking demonstration of lak lak, a snack made of processed duck meat that resembles pancakes. I've never had that. With a predominant taste of salty and savory, he said. And in addition, there'll be food stands selling Tabanan Regency specialties. So if you like the food in Tabanan, this would be a good thing to visit. The organizers expect 2.5 billion rupiahs from the festival, which will be held from June 22nd to June 25th. So not too far from now. In the 2020 festival, they got 2 billion rupiahs. So that's pretty good. And for this festival, they are going to be targeting specifically domestic and local tourists. The target is 80% local and domestic visitors, 20% foreign visitors. Why? Because, as I said, we've got all those school kids coming in and families on holidays and things. And that is it for today. This has been a pretty good report today as opposed to some in the past. Hopefully I cleared up some misconceptions that some people may have had. And rabies, well, that is not a good thing, but just be aware of it. And if you are bitten, make sure you go to a hospital and get checked. A lot of people apparently here. I was thinking about going down to the south to see some of my grandchildren and children, but I don't know if there's so many tourists there. It's been so long since I've been around a lot of tourists. I feel kind of gun shy, camera shy. I don't know, shy. Maybe I will go and maybe I won't go. It's always better if they come to me than I go to them. But that's just old grandpa. If you are here on the island, I hope you're having a good time. Remember, follow those rules. This is a beautiful place. Kick back, enjoy yourself. Visit some cultural things. Learn something about the history and culture of Bali and Indonesia while you're here. And if you're here for a long time, get off the island and go see some other places. Sumbawa, one of my favorite places. I highly recommend it. You want to go and hang out in some beaches, some beautiful white sand beaches, crystal clear water with nobody around. Go to Sumbawa. And of course, there's Lombok right next door. Always go to Lombok. Not as crowded here as in Bali, and I've always enjoyed Lombok as well. And then, of course, there's Flores. And I know a lot of people are going to Raja Ampat nowadays. Back when I was working over there, didn't see many people on my visits there, but apparently they're doing it. And of course, Maluku, and I do have a couple of videos on Maluku. I'll see if I can find a link and put it up here. If you want to go and see a fascinating area of the country with great history, wonderful people, incredible music, really good food. You can start in Ambon and work your way down to Banda Nera and the islands around there. Very, very cool. And they don't get a lot of tourists. And so there's some good snorkeling, good diving over there as well. Highly recommend it. Okay, thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. As always, stay safe, and I will see you next time.